Origi! Yeah! He's doing it! Yeah! Unbelievable!
Hello and welcome to the Liverpool Way podcast after a 2-2 draw at Fulham. It looked as if the undermanned Reds had earned a come-from-behind win through Cody Gakpo's goal 4 minutes into stoppage time, and the improved second-half display meant we probably just shaded this one. However, a once-in-a-lifetime Thunder Bastard at the other end earned the home side a point at the death, leaving us with that familiar deflated feeling for what feels like the 25th game in a row. Still, it's another point in a trickier-looking game, and it's enough to keep us in 4th place for now. I'm Chris Smith, and I'm joined by TLW Editor Dave Usher. We'll be picking the bones out of this one, and then looking ahead to Arsenal on Thursday night. Ugh.
Do we have to?
Yeah. Dave, I haven't been on in a while. I don't think I've been on before Christmas, to be honest. Do you have a good Christmas, good holiday? Feeling all right?
Yeah. Apart from the footy, it's been fine, yeah.
Yeah, good. It's just everything to delay talking about the actual footy.
I know.
You know, just starting with to not be too downbeat initially, I thought we came out of the traps in the second half looking like a much different team, and there was a little bit more zip about our play. You know, we had the ball in the net a couple of times. Maka hit the bar. For that 20-minute odd period, I thought we were pretty good, but it was just kind of the rest of it that let us down, really. Yeah. What did you make of the overall package today?
Just more of the same. We're seeing like more or less the same game every week, and the only variables is the scoreline, which just depends on who's taking chances or like them getting that 30-yard goal and stuff like that. You can't really, you can't predict that, but you can kind of predict how the game is going to look. You know, every single game is like so tight. So, I mean, people make something of, oh, well, it's 9 games unbeaten. Well, we lost 9 of 12, and we didn't deserve to lose 9 games out of 12. But of like that run, we had 2 really bad ones, didn't we? Fulham and, Forest and PSV. And then all of those other games are like tight games, which are settled by a set piece, a bit of luck, or someone taking a chance, another team missing a chance. All those games could go either way. So the 9 out of 12 wasn't really a true reflection of how things were. And I said that at the time. I was like, because I've consistently said we'll finish in the top 4, possibly even top 3. I've said that all along because that was never going to carry on like that. Equally, the 9-game unbeaten run, there's several games in that run which could have gone the other way. So it's not that much is different. It's like we're just seeing very similar performances like every single week, and it's really uninspiring. And I did think the 20 minutes after half time was pretty good today. I also thought when I was watching that, what are Fulham doing? Why are Fulham being like on the back foot and passive? Because if I'm Fulham there, I'm getting after us. We're there for the taking at the moment, and Fulham played the game as though they were playing like the champions. And not who we actually are right now. And anytime
we didn't see Fulham, much of what we've seen from them in recent weeks, did we?
No, that's not how they normally
take it
play.
To us at all.
No, they don't normally play like that. And when they did have a goal today, they looked dangerous. They looked like they were going to score. So a draw was a fair result, I thought. It looked like we'd nicked it at the end. It wouldn't have been a particularly deserved win. But again, it's exactly what I'm saying. It's like that's a game that could have been a draw. We could have lost. We could have won. And more or less every game feels like that now. That every single game is like close in the balance, and we're incapable of outplaying and comfortably beating anybody. Even Wolves last week, the worst team in the league, even that was a close game in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just think sometimes we conspire to make lives a lot harder for ourselves than it needs to be. Like you saw that, I said to you and Julian that like I saw that Fulham first goal where it's like 2 passes between the lines, 1 relatively clever flick, and a good finish. Like when do we ever do that? Like never. It's we make life so overcomplicated for ourselves with this slow football and the poor tempo and the overplaying, and I don't know. It just feels like we've got to a point where anything natural, anything that these players grew up doing has been completely coached out of them. It's you can say what you want about the football being entertaining. Entertaining football goes a long way But even unentertaining football goes a long way if it's effective, and it's just not effective. So we could live with that if it was like stunningly effective or moderately effective. It's just not.
Yeah.
But then again, just after half time, though, they do pick up the tempo a little bit, and we do look like, we're more incisive. There's more spunk about us, so to speak.
Urgency.
And it yields the results.
And it wasn't all sideways. It's like you see Bradley's wanting to play 1-2s and get forward, and everything was done just with a bit more pace. And we forced a few set pieces, and you could hear finally, like, the away end then comes to life, and it's like, okay, we've got something to get behind here. And it's like that at Anfield. It's the same thing at Anfield. It's like the crowd's wanting to get behind, they're wanting to do stuff, but you've got to have something to get your teeth into, and too often we're not seeing it. And like I thought in the first half, I didn't think this is how low the bar is now. Like, I was watching that and thinking, this isn't really that bad. We've played a lot worse than this at times this season, but it wasn't good in any way. And a lot of that I do think is because it would have looked a lot worse if Fulham had have actually had a go. Fulham, the goal that they scored to open with. I mean, we can talk about the goal and whose fault it is and all of that stuff, but the point you made there is spot on, because there's times in that game, and we don't do this very often, we should do it more, but I understand why we don't, because what's the point in making a run when the pass doesn't come anyway? So we don't run in behind often enough, but there's times when people make that run, and you watch it and you see it time and time again. So today, I can remember a really clear example of Wirtz making a run down the left when we just won the ball back in the middle of the pitch. And Wirtz set off down the left, and he's actually in. There's space. There's loads of space. McAllister's on the ball, looks up, sees him, and then just stops, checks, and goes back inside and keeps the ball. Now, that is not something that players do naturally. That is coaching and instructions and playing to how the ethos of the team. Now, this is who they are now. It's all just like safe. No, we're not going to play that pass because it might not work. So we'll play 10 passes and then hope that something opens up. And Gakpo was making runs all the time, and the ball doesn't come, and then you have to stop. Now, a couple of times he did get in because the ball did come, but most of the time it doesn't. The players make runs and the ball doesn't come, and it's frustrating, especially when you see other teams getting in with like one ball. In the second half, the one when Wilson hits the bar, how the hell is Raul Jimenez got like there's like a 25-yard gap between our two centre-backs, and he runs through it? How is the centre-forward getting in over a ball over the top and the centre-forward's getting in like that? I see that and I'm like, who's not doing the job there? Like, the first goal again, to me, that's the centre-backs. It's on them. Konate goes in to try to win the ball when really I think he should be looking at Wilson's run and thinking, I can't go and try and win that because Wilson's in. But Virgil's doing nothing. He's just standing there leaving Konate to deal with like the two situations. Does he go and press? Does he go with the runner or whatever? That's just not good from the centre-backs. And, it's too easy for Fulham. But as you say, we don't do stuff like that. So we don't know whether other team centre-backs are going to be making those stupid mistakes because we never fucking test them like that anyway.
Yeah.
We just make life so much easier for them by not putting them in those kinds of situations. So there was certain things in the first half that was all right, but nothing to take any real encouragement from or to feel good about. It's just more of the same, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you think Fulham kind of approached the game in the way they did because they knew that they could contain and they would... Everybody seems to know that they are going to get chances against us, so they don't really need to kind of push the issue. Yeah,
it may well be that. But we've seen it with Leeds in the last game, how comfortable Leeds were. The Wolves game was slightly different. Like, Wolves were mostly comfortable, but then we cut two really good goals, which is exactly what you want against a team that's sitting in and defending. But again, we don't see enough of that. But the blueprint is there on how to stop us. Everyone kind of knows how to do it. Like, we'll just let them have the ball, stay in your shape, let them have the ball, make them play the way through, and they probably won't. And then wait for a set piece or a counter attack. And it's too easy.
I thought a lot of the good stuff we did today, Wirtz was at the heart of that, and you can tell that he's at least trying to get us moving and popping passes off and that kind of stuff. But more often than not, he'll do that, and then it just goes back to the centre halves anyway. So it's a nice little bit of interplay between 2 or 3 players. It doesn't lead to anything because they're not bold enough to take the next steps.
Or he might give it away because he's trying to make things happen, and he does give it away a lot, and some of it looks awful. You know, sometimes he's giving it away, and you're like, fucking hell, you know, you're a really good player. What are you doing? That's terrible. But he tries. You know, he is at least trying to make things happen. Whereas everyone else, a lot of it is just so safe. I mean, I look at Wirtz and I think we're probably getting about 25% of what he could be. And I do think he is going to be an incredible player, but it's not going to be under this manager. You know, we're probably going to have to wait for that and hope that whoever comes in next is the right choice, because, you know, that's the thing that scares me more than anything. That's why I'm not saying, oh, get rid of Slot. I'm not doing that because I'm terrified about what will come next, because you get the next one wrong and you just end up being Man United.
Yeah.
You have to be so careful, like what you do next. So if they want to take as much time as it takes to make sure they know who the right appointment is, I think you got to do it. You can't rush into something, because if you make the wrong appointment, even if you know early on you've made the wrong appointment, you can't pull the trigger straight away. You've got to give the person time, and then before you know it, you're like another 18 months down the line, and then you're in the same position again. So that's the thing that really scares me. It's not, you know, I do think it's inevitable that Slot is not going to be here next season, but, you know, who comes in next, I don't know. But if they do get it right, I think there's players there who could look incredible. You know, these are really good players. They don't look it at the moment, but we know that they're really good players. So you've just got to find a way to get the best out of these players, and we're not doing that. I mean, you know, one thing I do want to say about today, I think Cody playing centre forward, I'm okay with that, because it sort of takes away a lot of the shit stuff that he does when he's out wide. He can't do that. And I was saying to RL before the game, he was like, oh, he's not really going to do nothing. And I'm like, no, the thing is, if he's playing centre forward, he can't be constantly cutting in all the time. And he's going to be able to do the things that he is good at, which he's got a nose for getting on the end of things. And he loves a back post tap in, which we ended up scoring from that. So you're sort of playing to his strengths a bit more. And I know he says he prefers playing on the left and that. Well, I don't care what you prefer, mate. Your strengths are not what you're doing on the left wing. You know, your strengths are getting on the end of things. He's generally a pretty good finisher, and I thought he did all right today. I thought he was a threat. You know, yeah, he could have done better with that chance in the first half. Ironically, the chance that he misses in the first half is because he doesn't cut in and shoot on his right foot.
Exactly.
He went on the outside. His touch took him on the outside. I was like, no. Oh, my God. If he was on the left,
I was just expecting that to dribble that across the defender, and then...
I know.
Yeah, no.
He had, like, I thought his first touch was decent, his second touch is fine, and I think it was the third touch took him wide, and then he has to shoot on his left foot because he'd gone wide. But no, if he'd have gone inside with that touch, you know, he probably scores there. But I thought he did okay. I thought he did offer a threat, and you know, no problems with his performance at all. He was one of our better players.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can look at it from this perspective as well, as we go into the game today without three players who would probably have started the game. You know, Gakpo's not fit, so, you know, there's no Isak, no Salah, no Ekitike. We yet to hear have we heard what's wrong with him? Is he just being rested for Thursday, or is he injured, or
sort of both? Like,
okay,
bit of an issue with his hamstring, tightness in the hamstrings apparently from playing quite a lot of games. Okay, so held back for Thursday was what I heard. Okay. It might be wrong, so but I'm sure that's what I heard before the game.
We were on demand, wouldn't he? But you'd think, looking at today, like if there was ever an opportunity to give Rio a go, like this would have been a good game to do so.
He's not going to do that. I agree.
Do you think he'll ever do that? Like, do you think even like as the players, because the player's career develops and he's going to get older and he's going to get stronger and he's going to get more tactically astute. Do you think
Slot's not going to be the manager by that point? So
yeah. I'm still not convinced whether that they're planning on getting rid of him. I still think that that's not in the plans.
I don't think they can just let it carry on like this. I don't know. I mean, but that's for another day, I suppose. But in terms of Rio, I think the way he's been handled this season has been appalling. He's flying in pre-season. Everyone's talking about him. The club put that little. No one was quoted, but when the beat reporters are saying they won't be replacing Diaz because they don't want to block the pathway for Rio, which I said at the time that was absolute bollocks. And I said at the beginning of the season he was hardly going to play, and people were like, because I had this conversation with my dad. My dad's like, he should be starting all the time. I'm like, no, he shouldn't. He absolutely should not. He's not ready for that. But what he is ready for is playing more minutes than he has played. As much as I'm saying, no, he's not an option to be replacing Diaz. He's not going to start that many games, which is right. Still, you've got to give him more of an opportunity. He only gets on the pitch when we're desperate. And what does that say to the lad? It's like, you're a last resort. You're coming on when we're desperate for a goal. Under no other circumstances are you getting on the pitch.
Yeah.
But he'll get thrown out in the FA Cup in a scratch team, which will probably end up embarrassing us by getting beat by Barnsley, because you're throwing players who are demotivated and kids who aren't ready, and they all know that. They all know this is not like an opportunity because you're part of the plans. It's like, I want to rest everybody, so I'll just pick whoever. So I dread to think what's going to happen in that cup game, because that's
when is Saturday week?
Or it's after the Arsenal game, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you're obviously going to put your best team out against Arsenal, and then at the weekend, it's going to be everybody else.
Yeah, pretty much. What did you make of the fullbacks' performance today? Because once again, we saw them getting forward quite a lot and less contained than they have been. So I know that's something that you've been keen to emphasise that we should be doing, and we have seen a little bit more. And I thought both Bradley and Kirkes had good games today.
Kirkes is just really game. That's the word I'd use. He's game.
Mm-hmm.
He'll run all day for you. He'll throw himself in. He'll try and tackle with his head. He's just a game lad, isn't he? He has a go. And a lot of the time, again today, I thought he was making runs and they didn't use him enough. The ball didn't come, but he kept making the runs, and I think he's been fine recently. I think he's growing into it a bit. Bradley, he did some good things. I don't think we really attacked down his side as much as we could have done, to be fair, but I thought I do agree that they were two of our better players, and obviously Bradley's involved in the goal, and he had his hands full defensively because they done quite a bit of attacking down his side. That Robinson loves to just bomb forward and that, and I thought I thought he did all right, like defensively as well. He stuck to his task. We just need him to stay fit now. He's got to just get a run of games, because every time he plays a couple of games, he then gets injured, and then it's just back to square one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately, that's been the case for 2 years now, so it's difficult to see a way out of that. It's starting to look more like this will be the norm rather than they'll get him right eventually.
Yeah, it's starting to look less like growing pains and more like, this might just be who he is, but hopefully not, because we need him to stay fit, because if he's ever going to develop into what we think he could be, he's only going to do that by getting a run of games, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But what we did see for setting up the goal is exactly what you want to see from him. It was sort of classic Conor Bradley, wasn't it? That like driving run, gliding past a couple of players, and then a nice little layoff. It was weird that both goals looked totally offside in real time. Like their goal did, and I was like, oh yeah, that's off. And I didn't celebrate our goal because I thought that was clearly off. Even on the replay, I thought that was clearly off.
Yeah, I thought Wilson was onside, just because when it was played through, Virgil was sort of stepping forward, and those ones are always really tight. When one player's running one way and the defender's going the other, they always look more offside than they actually are. And then you could tell when the referee was saying to the players, he was going like, it's tight, and he was making a gesture with his fingers and that. And I'm like, oh yeah, we're in trouble, yeah. But people make the mistake of looking at the lines on the pitch and going, oh no, that's okay to a degree, but it's not an exact science. It's like if someone's like a yard past, if you can see by the line on the pitch there's a yard difference, then yeah, they're probably going to be offside. But when it's really tight, the lines on the pitch are irrelevant, because the groundsman is not measuring with a fucking, to an exact degree as to whether those lines are like completely like square and that. So it looked offside based on the lines, but he obviously wasn't. And then the same with R1, which did look well off. Initially, it looked well off, and then again, it's taken a while. And the longer it takes, that's when you start thinking, okay, this is probably going to be a goal. Because if it's clearly off, then like the Gakpo one when he was like fucking 6 yards offside, I don't even think they checked that. Like you can see that with the naked eye, but when it takes a long time, generally you think, oh, it's going to be a goal.
Yeah. Another goal for Wirtz now. That's like 2 in 3 games, I think, isn't it? So that's a positive to cling on to. Like the impact he's having is starting to show up in the numbers, and that's more of a sort of a an inevitable consequence of what he was doing anyway. But it is good to see that him getting himself in those positions and finishing those chances now. Like happy to see that for sure.
Do you know what's really bad? Like I knew that was a second goal, and I knew he'd scored recently. But even now, after you saying that, can I remember what that first goal was and who he scored it against? I'll know when you say it.
Wolves, wasn't it?
So describe the goal, because you've just said Wolves, and I'm still thinking no.
Well, it was that great turn by Ekitike, and he drove through and he just played it through the middle for Wirtz, and he finished.
Oh,
well
yeah.
At the Anfield Road end. You were at the game 2 weeks ago.
I know. And I did know that he'd scored recently, but I was trying to think, and I'm like, I can't remember what the actual goal. But
it wasn't even 2 weeks ago, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was
day after Boxing Day or something.
Day after Boxing Day,
27th.
Yeah. So it was the Saturday. What day are we on now?
Sunday.
So it's 8 days. It was 8 days ago. 8 days is a long time when you get to my age. I bet you Paul doesn't remember it either. Paul will be listening going, no, Dave, I'm with you. I don't remember it either. Who's Wirtz?
You guys are taking the Ted Lasso advice a little bit too far with the whole be a goldfish.
Be a goldfish, thing. Yeah.
But yeah.
But on your point, yeah, it is good to see like he's contributing now. I mean, he was contributing before. He was just unlucky a lot of the time, but now he's finally getting a little bit of reward for it. Like the goal he scored today, like a couple of months ago, that will be offside. The toe would have been a couple of inches the other way, because it was just the big toe, wasn't it, of the defender. And what? He might have actually been offside, but the way it works is there's a 5 centimetre buffer, because like they can't measure the exact moment the ball leaves the boot, so there's a buffer on the line. So it's possible he could have been like a centimetre offside, but because of the way it is with that buffer, he's onside.
Good. And just going back to your point you made a few minutes ago about the malaise setting in, and if you get the next managerial appointment wrong, that can also have like such a negative effect on like top players' careers as well, haven't it?
Yeah.
We've seen it like a bunch of times, and they're destined for great things, and they've been mismanaged, and there's been a couple of managers with different tactical shifts and that kind of stuff, and then they kind of just fall by the wayside. I think it's important for us that those new players that we have, like especially Ekitike and Wirtz, who have shown their quality on quite a number of occasions, that they continue to be in a good vein of form and continue performing well, rather than the malaise affecting them to the point where they're just shit.
Yeah.
Low on confidence,
Yeah, it's easier for the fullbacks because it's much less complicated than it is for like the forwards and stuff. You're either playing with attacking fullbacks or you're not. So if you're playing with attacking fullbacks, it's going to suit them. The rest of it is a bit more complicated, and Isak's got to be mentioned in that as well, because if you spend that much money, you've got to make that work. You can't afford for it to not work. So obviously he's out injured at the moment. It's going to be like a couple of months, but you're looking at next season really for him, I think. Even if he comes back this season, I don't think we're going anywhere, are we? We're just sort of playing out the season, hoping to get in the Champions League spaces. Maybe we can have, if we get like a little bit of luck, maybe we can have a good run in the Champions League this year. I do think we're finding that, other than PSV and Galatasaray, obviously, but I do think we find it easier playing in the Champions League than we do in the Premier League. Like, we can't beat anybody comfortably in the Premier League, but we've had some decent wins in Europe, so maybe that's the route where we can get some entertainment in the rest of the season. Might get a decent run in the Champions League.
Yeah, salvage a bit of pride and give us something to move forward with. But
I mean, we've won the Champions League with much worse players than this. So like you look at the team that won it in Istanbul, and you look at the 11 players, you're like, well, much better now, but no Steven Gerrard.
Yeah, and no lightning in a bottle either with that. Like, what's the opposite of lightning in a bottle? Shit in a can.
Oh, yeah, fart in a jar. I don't know. But yeah, there's no Stevie unless Dan gets his way and he comes in as caretaker.
Oh man,
I don't know if Dan's serious or not, but like he keeps bringing it up, but he's just dead funny the way he does it. But he's mentioned it a few times now about how he's ready to press the Gerrard panic button, and he said it again today in the first half. But yeah, I'm.
Is he
I'm
doing
not
a
on
bit,
board with
or is
that.
he?
I don't know. I don't think he was doing a bit when he first suggested it. I think that was just like desperation and like temper. It was the Leeds 3-3, I think. That was when he said, that's it, fuck it, I'm ready to get Gerrard back. But he's mentioned it a few times since, but I think he might be doing a bit now. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the football fan though, isn't it? Like when it feels like that, you want something that's going to make you immediately feel good. Like you want that little feel good button, like a little bit of dopamine. That's like, oh yeah, cast your mind back to something where you felt good. And I suppose that's what he's going for.
I think anyone calling for Stevie to be coming in now, it's not dopamine that they're looking for. I think it's basically heroin. They must be on something fucking that's causing them to not be thinking straight. It's not something.
He hasn't done it on the pod yet, though, has he? So
no, he might do it on his little fireside chat with John pod, like maybe if Istanbul, and then he'll be saying talking about Stevie, and he'll be like, you know what we should do.
Yeah, shout out for that, by the way. If you haven't checked out the sort of newest offshoot of the Liverpool Way podcast, Dan and John Gallagher have teamed up on a episode called TLW Time Team, where they're going to be going back in time and looking back at old seasons and memorable games from the past. And those two are the perfect two to do it, aren't they, Dave? Mainly because they're the ones with the good memory for this kind of stuff.
He remembers stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah. But I'm not sure how regularly they're planning on doing it. It'll probably be sort of like a once in a while thing, and it'll be good for some stuff we have like during international breaks and the summer and that kind of stuff. So if you haven't checked out that yet, give it a listen. It's a really nice, relaxing sort of. Like I put it on before I went to bed and listened all the way through, and it was just super relaxing and nice. And those two are the perfect two for that. So give it a shot if you haven't already. And nice one to John and Dan for adding to our repertoire a little bit. It's nice to have something a little bit different.
Trip down memory lane, and it's a nice relief from the rest of us just fucking constantly just moaning about the shit that we're watching at the moment. So yeah, it's a nice little contrast to that. So if you haven't listened to that, go and check it out. It is good, and they will be doing more.
Just on that, I mean, I would have been like 13 during that Coca-Cola Cup run in '95. So I remember us just about winning I was 10 when we won the FA Cup against Sunderland, but that was the first one where I kind of really understood enough about it to be. I was really excited about that team coming out of the doldrums of the Souness era with Fowler and McManaman and Jamie Redknapp, and it looked like we were really growing into something under Evans in there. The football was great. There was such youthful exuberance about everything, and we were that sort of fighting underdog. And we were only 5 years out from winning our last title then, so the weight wasn't quite on us. So I remember that game and that season really, really fondly as well. Like McManaman was just unreal in that final, wasn't he? He's like proper, like magnificent world-class performance from him.
We were close, we did over that period of a few years. We were so close, but just not quite. Just didn't quite have it. We didn't have the steel and the mentality to get over the line. But some of the football we played back then was great as well. McManaman might be the most underrated player in our history because a lot of people don't particularly like him. and also because of the fact that he's associated with that team, which really underachieved. But for like a 2-3 year period, McManaman was incredible. I loved watching him. Him and Fowler together, it was so good.
Yeah, it's that like iconic image of like one on the other one's back. I think it's McManaman on Fowler's back.
It was it was the 6-1 at Palace, wasn't it? The first game of the season.
First game of the season. Oh man, good times.
See, we don't need fucking Dan and John. Me and you can handle this. I even got that game right, whereas I couldn't even remember Flair's goal 8 days ago.
It was more of a thing that was like is indelibly marked on you back then. There wasn't there moments like that. Like, I don't know about you, but I always had all of the like season review videos and all that kind of stuff. That I'd watch those until the cassette tape was worn out, and so you kind of you have the reinforcement that you just don't get from Stay, and this feels like there are a dozen more fixtures that you just onto the next one as soon as the game's over, and it's like constant like 24-hour news cycle of I don't think I'd ever even the seasons where we've won the league, I'm not going to get the old DVD player out and do they even release the DVDs anymore?
No, I don't think they do.
Season review DVDs.
Everton still do it after any decent derby performance, like, but actually I don't even know if Everton do it anymore, but no, they don't really do that. It's all online now, isn't it?
Yeah, they certainly won't be doing one of today's.
No, can't even enjoy that though because we're shit.
Yeah, I know, but fucking hell, they were. Oh shit, I saw it at. Oh no, they weren't 4-0 down. Fucking hell, that's a bad defeat for them though at home, isn't it? Like a team that sort of prides them. They've had some bad defeats there this year, haven't they? Like that Newcastle one as well stands out when they got absolutely battered as well. So, how safe are Everton?
They're well safe. They were 8th going into today.
Oh, they're 12th now. 28 points, 14. They got double the points at West Ham.
Plus, they're actually decent. They're not shit. Yeah. This is not like the Sean Dyche dog shit Everton. They're actually all right now. So I just hope that we stay ahead of them, because the way we're going at the moment, like all these draws, you got to start picking up wins, and it's not the fixtures we've got coming up. I think we've got City soon as well, haven't we?
Yeah, we have
a couple of games in between that, but it doesn't matter who it is. None of it looks easy anymore.
Yeah. Do you think we could be in for a little bit of a kick-in on Thursday night? Because their tails are up again now, aren't they?
Yeah, you know what? I do think they'll want to prove a point, because they lost at Anfield. We beat them to the title last year. I think they'll smell blood. They know we're vulnerable. It's the set pieces that terrifies me. That fucking Gabriel twat just seems to score every fucking week.
I know. I fucking hate him.
I hate him so much, right? He single-handedly stopped me from hating Erling Haaland. My opinion of Erling Haaland flipped purely when he threw the ball at the back of his head. And ever since then, I've gone, he's all right, Haaland, I don't hate him. He's all right. And it was purely because he hates Gabriel and he did that to him. That's how much I hate Gabriel. I'm now Team Haaland. But that was one of the funniest moments ever, when he just bounced that ball off the back of his head. Because he had his shirt over his head and he didn't know what had happened. And Haaland was already off into the distance by the time he realised what had gone on. That was great. But yeah, he's a twat, and he's going to score against us. I can feel it.
Yeah. He is the worst, though, isn't he? Like, he is a prime one for over-celebrating, like, a late tackle or something when they're 3-1 up in a game, and he's celebrating like they won the fucking league. I can't stand his face.
Yeah,
he's got one of the worst faces in football. Yeah. Pure understilled Arsenal, as Jules called him. It's a good day for Jules today, anyway. We didn't lose, and his boy scored.
Yeah. Best player in the league.
Got another lovely goal.
He arguably has been the best player in the league over the last 6 weeks. He's been fucking unbelievable. Was there any doubt he was going to finish that when he went through? And I know it's Alisson, and normally I always fancy Alisson. He was always scoring on his left foot.
Yeah,
almost got another one as well.
Second one and gone in.
It was a great effort as well.
That was mad from Verge, though, wasn't it? That could have so easily gone wrong. How confident have you got to be to make sure you hook that over the bar,
his own
practically
bar,
on the line?
If that was anyone else, I would think he didn't mean it. But it's Verge, so you think, he did mean it. But yeah, it was a bit weird.
He had like a bit of, just had a slow-mo replay of it afterwards where he had like a little bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
And he was just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Again, though, it's just a straight ball over the top, and Jimenez was in. I just don't know how, like, how we can get undone by that kind of football. It's like, you've got two world-class centre-backs. Figure it out.
And again, it's not like Raul Jimenez has been a really good Premier League player across his career, but he's not Erling Haaland, is he?
No, and he can't
He's
run.
not one that's going to... Yeah, exactly. That's going to dominate you time and time again, but...
Thankfully, he
player.
can't run, because that's the reason why Canate caught up with him and then dealt with it well in the end. But only because he can't run. Most strikers are gone in that situation.
Yeah, he just looks unfit, Canate, doesn't he? He looks really just laboured.
Yeah, he does look like he's carrying a bit of timber, which he can't be, because they've got so many analysts now and sports science people measuring everything, and so he can't be. But he does kind of look it.
Yeah. Definitely. Laboured and slow and on his heels and not quick to react. I felt that a lot about that kind of us today in some of our attacking play and our defensive play. We're so used to this pondersome, tempo-less style that when the time does come
pondersome
to...
a word? I like it. I don't know if it's an actual word, but it does describe
guess,
us. Cumbersome and ponderous. So, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I might start using it. It's a good word.
Pondersome is an adjective meaning something that makes you think deeply, is thought-provoking, or involves much musing or reflection.
So it's a word, but it's not what you were intending it to mean.
Okay, here we go. Let's get into the old... Pondersome... No, it's not a word.
No.
No.
Should be.
Ponderous is an adjective, pondersome is not a word.
No, it should be.
Yeah,
that was a pondersome performance today.
Arne Pondersome Slot. Cody must be fucking gutted. He'd been in line for some extra ice cream, and he would have been able to stay up for an extra hour tonight for this winning goal.
The very definition of pondersome. His face should be next to that word in next year's dictionary.
Hey, lay off Cody. He did his bit today.
He did. No, he did. As I say, he was one of our better players today.
You'll be back on the left on Thursday night, though, won't he? Back on the left on Thursday. Ekitike through the middle. Probably Dom on the right.
He might be on the bench on Thursday if Verts plays on the left.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So difficult we don't really have an identity or a style or a particular foot. We haven't been able to see enough of what he wanted to do with the two up front because of Isak's injury, and now we're in this sort of netherworld where nobody really look at the lineup before the game, and there's sort of a big inquisition about how we're gonna line up and who's playing where. It's like really weird.
And interestingly today, Curtis and Maka switched. So Maka was playing deeper and Curtis was playing as the 10. Which I think that worked better than how it has been working. But
it worked better for Maka, I thought. Yeah. Not necessarily for Curtis.
But you're losing.
But the sum of the parts worked better.
Curtis getting on the ball deep, and he can get away from people and that. So we kind of lost out on that a bit. But I don't know. It is all just like shuffling deck chairs around the Titanic, isn't it? At the moment.
Yeah.
Whatever you
definitely.
do. You can make a case for leaving Verts out against Arsenal just purely because of the set piece factor. If you're having Cody on the left, it gives you the extra height, even though he's 6'3", 6'4", but plays like he's 5'10". Still, it's a big body in there, isn't it? So might be helpful.
And definitely can't play Frimpong against them for that same reason.
No, definitely not. Great cross from him today, by the way.
It was a great cross, and I just don't think we can play him at fullback in the Premier League, that's all.
I think you can in games when you know you're going to be... okay, so there's no games... What I was going to say doesn't apply because there are no games where we're well on top and we're all over teams. But if you were to put him into the team from a few years ago when we were battering people, I think he'd be a really good fit, although he's totally different to Trent. He could do on that side what Robbo's going to do on the other side. But when you're not dominating and you are having to do a bit more defending, then it could be problematic.
Yeah. For me, it looks like a weird signing from that perspective that us as would sign somebody who is that slight.
He's genuinely tiny.
He is dead. There was that time today when we were under the cosh a little bit, and he's jumping to head it clear, and he's just, he's underneath. He's way underneath the ball.
Yeah.
But that, it's not his fault. It's not. He can't help how tall he is. But I just think it's kind of an odd signing that we probably made because, well, we need to replace Trent, and this guy has a release clause, and he's a good footballer, so he's going to be a useful squad player. But I don't think they signed him to be Trent's. Like, I think they were hoping to get Bradley fully up to speed, right, and have Frimpong as kind of like a right-sided utility player.
Yeah. Sometimes playing further forward, sometimes in games when you're on top, or if you're chasing a game, then attacking right back. Yeah, I do think that was the plan as like a bit of a utility option. But he is a good footballer. I like him. I just think the way this team is, we don't dominate games, and we've not got teams pinned back all the time the way because I'm sure that was the plan. When you're bringing in these fullbacks, it's like, okay, we want to be like the way we were, where teams are sitting in because they're just scared of what we're going to do, and you're flying at them, and you've got the width coming from the fullbacks, and then we just haven't really seen it. We are seeing it a bit more now, but it's just nothing else is really working particularly well. But at least we are getting a bit of width from the fullbacks now, which wasn't happening earlier in the season.
Yeah. Got to just look for some green shoots, I suppose. How do you think we'll end up lining up against Arsenal then?
We haven't got too many options to change things, but yeah, you'd like to think Hugo comes back in. So I would be looking for height, because I don't think we're going to be dominating possession and on the front foot that much. I think we are going to have to suffer a bit, like defensively, and there's going to be like a lot of set pieces. So if you go there with the plan of stop them on set pieces and counter attack, that might be the way to go, with like Cody on the left, Ekatike, Dom on the right, and then just the midfield that he's been playing really, and back four kind of picks itself at the moment. I know some people would have Robbo back in for that, but I don't think that's what he's going to do. And Robbo's had his problems with Saka as well, so like Kerkez. He played well against them at Anfield. It was one of his better games, wasn't it, Kerkez?
He did. He was really good against Madueke.
Madueke, yeah.
Yeah, never
I really like that Madueke, I'm not sure about his end product, but when you watch him play, he always beats the first man. It's like the second player always has to come across, because he just goes past the first player every time. So difficult to deal with. But
he's precisely the type of player that they needed to sign. Like, wasn't he, that Madueke, that really good second tier player who can come in. And like, they had Trossard to do it on the left, and then now they've got Madueke to do it on the right. And
Nwaneri can't even get on the bench now, and he's really fucking good. Arsenal's bench the last couple of games, by the way, has just been ridiculous. And then you look at our bench with fucking Freddie Woodman on there. We were putting two keepers on the bench, and Calvin Ramsey's on there, Welity Lucky, Trey Ione, all like these players being on the bench. And then you look at Arsenal's bench and you're like, shit.
Yeah. It's insane, really, when you think that the expenditure during the summer, I guess it's just the volume of players that left, isn't it? The volume of players was higher than the volume of players who came in. So
they built a squad and we tried to build a team.
Yeah.
And the squad was left a bit short as a result of it.
Yeah. Hey, but we could have Harvey Elliott back. We could have had Harvey Elliott in the squad today.
Can't talk about him, he's an Aston Villa player.
Oh yeah, sorry. You have to, if you want to hear any Harvey Elliott updates, you're going to have to go to the Aston Villa Way podcast, because we've been banned.
Yeah, no one's allowed to talk about him apparently. Do you know, I don't really want to get into this because I could go on for half an hour about it. I'm so fucking angry about it. But
yeah, me too.
To try to sum it up like as briefly as I can, I don't understand how it's simple as this really. Anyone like who's like thinking about this situation, right? Just ask yourself this: is this squad better or worse if you put Harvey Elliott in it? Like it is that simple. So I've said before about how all of our games, pretty much every game we play, is in the balance 15-20 minutes to go. And Harvey Elliott is one of the best impact subs we've ever seen. Someone who comes on and just lifts the tempo of a game, makes things happen. He gets shots away. He can play little passes. He gets the crowd going because he just does things quickly. Well, when every single game is crying out for a player like that, why would you not bring him back? It's not costing you anything to bring him back in. He's our player. So why you to talk about loaning him to the MLS? Fuck off. Just bring him back. Why would you not bring him back and have him as part of the squad? Slot was complaining the other night about the lack of Premier League experience on the bench when he's making changes. And you've got like a really, really good impact sub there who you could just bring back and put part of the squad. Now, either Slot is a fucking idiot for not wanting that, and I don't think he is. So I think there's another reason behind this, but I don't know what it is. People need to get to the bottom of this. So, like, the beat writers who were in the press conferences, when he says, I'm not talking about him, he's an Aston Villa player, someone have the balls to say, well, no, he's not an Aston Villa player, so let's deal with that straight away. He's not an Aston Villa player, but why is he not already back here? What is the reason for it? Make him explain.
Yeah.
And if he can't explain, well, then fucking someone get hold of Richard Hughes. If it's not Slot's decision, then whose decision is it? But he should be back here. And if it's financial reasons, that's just bollocks, because whatever the cost it would be for Villa to terminate the loan, waive that. Just say to them, look, forget it. Let's just call it quits. Even for Harvey's sake, don't just fucking leave him like that. It's outrageous. It is. It's outrageous. And I said I was going to be brief, and I've not been brief. And I could still keep going on and on, but I'm not. I'm going to stop. And you can just chip in. I know you feel very much the same, but if there's anything you want to add to that, feel free. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I feel much the same as you, and you articulated that really well. I've got a piece in this month's Blood Red, actually, the monthly supplement from the Echo, that's like 2,000 words on this very subject. So feel free to dig into that as well if you see it out in your local newsagents or whatever. Or it's not even W.H. Smith anymore, is it? T.G. Jones or something, isn't it?
Is it? I thought it was still W.H. Smith.
The ones in the train stations and the airports are still W.H. Smith. The ones on the high street are called T.G. Jones.
Right.
Because it got sold.
Fucking hell.
And they try to retain the everyman quality of having a last name like Smith. So they changed it to Jones. But no, I feel the same way. Like, Harvey Elliott played over 100 Premier League games for Liverpool before his 23rd birthday. So lacking Premier League experience, tick box, done. Like, the amount of times he's come off the bench with crucial goals and assists, like even under Slot last year, he had a massive hand in those 2 Darwin Núñez goals away at Bournemouth. Brentford, sorry, yeah. He's seen it firsthand, so he knows exactly what Harvey Elliott's capable of. So he's either being a prick, which I don't rule out at all, because I actually think he's a bit of a prick, or his hands are tied and he's been told not to address that in any way, and Harvey's not coming back, and they're trying to screw Villa out of some cash. But it just doesn't sit well with me from a human being point of view. Like, it feels like a personal insult because Harvey Elliott's one of us.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he instinctivly went and jumped into the crowd away at Wolves when he got that goal the other year. It's because he belonged there. Like, he's as comfortable on the field as he is in the stands with us. So to see one of us treated like that feels like a real personal slap in the face. Mm-hmm. And we've all rooted for him since we signed him, really, haven't we? He's how can you not root for him? He's a truly lovable young lad. Mm-hmm. Could do with getting a better hairdo from every now and again. But there are a few players for us over the last 10 years who I have as much affection for as Harvey Elliott, and to see him just marooned out there and disregarded because of this abhorrent PSR shit that has commoditized young footballers and careers and hopes and dreams in a bean counting, book balancing exercise, so clubs can effectively cheat the system. It's just modern footy in a nutshell, isn't it? And the sooner we can get him back, the better. He probably doesn't have a long-term future at Liverpool anyway.
It doesn't even matter though, does it? We need him now.
No, it doesn't. You get him back, you get him integrated, and you help him get a better move somewhere where he's going to be appreciated. Because if they want 35 million quid for him, they're not going to get that by him sitting fucking nowhere at Aston Villa. Like, and he's just going to be lumbered with one of those shitty fucking Red Bull Club moves, and or like a lower middle half Premier League team. Like, he would have been like, I've got a mate who supports Spurs, and we're in touch like most days. He'd love to have Harvey Elliott playing for them. Like, he could be a major impact player for a good Premier League club. And in the meantime, he can do things for us that we don't have anyone else who can manage at the moment. So yeah, I think you articulated it really well. I feel exactly the same, just as angry, just as pissed off, just as hurt by it. So yeah, bring him back.
So you said there about like there's two aspects to it. There's the personal aspect, like seeing one of our lads treated like this and like by the club doesn't feel right at all. He should be, just on a human level, they should be bringing him back and integrating him into the squad and letting him play football again. So there's that. But also, from a football perspective, it makes perfect sense for us to do it. We are not better off without him in the squad.
Yeah.
It's stupid. So, and I don't think Slot is stupid, so there's got to be a reason. And that's what I want to know. I want to know, why is he still at Aston Villa when we're into January now and he's not playing? The only person who's been honest about all this is Emery. Your boy Emery, he said the other day, he was like, well, now the problem is we've realised like fairly quickly that we weren't going to sign him. So, you know, if we keep picking him, we've then got to sign him, and that's not going to happen, so we can't pick him. And he kind of hinted like if Liverpool changed like that, the conditions of that, so it wasn't compulsory for them to buy him if he played 10 games, he kind of hinted that if we changed that, then he would get some game time. But I just think, well, let him have the game time here, not there. What are we doing here? And there's another year off his contract as well. That's something else to look at. He's wasted a year, and that's a year less on his contract, which impacts like transfer value as well. He's not played, so his value's going to go down. It just, the whole thing just makes no sense. I don't understand it at all, which is why I want somebody to ask him about it and then not just be brushed off by like a bullshit answer.
Yeah. And it breaks my heart on that human level as well, because Harvey Elliott did not want to leave Liverpool, right? Like, he would have stayed for the rest of his career as someone who's involved regularly, who's basically, if you could have continued his career in the manner it was under Klopp, like starting a lot of games, being a really, really important player for us in the cup runs, and getting on the pitch every week for the last, say, 20 minutes, right? Yeah. Like, I think he would have gone through his career being that player for us and being happy doing it, because he was at Liverpool, never wanted to be anywhere else. And he's left almost against his will to prioritise his career. He's made a head over heart decision, and it's worked out worse for him than A, he's not at Liverpool, and B, he's not involved in anything and can't be. And like, surely they could have had the foresight to not bring him off the bench for that. Was it the Newcastle game that they brought him on? Like,
it was a game in August, wasn't it? So it might have been that one.
That's just fucked him beyond comprehension. Because I remember us bringing him on and being like, oh, well, Harvey probably isn't leaving then, because they wouldn't want to jeopardise this move. And it's just fucked him beyond comprehension. Like, I know there was very little chance of him forcing his way into that England squad anyway. They're stacked in that position, that number 10. There's about 4 of them who could all play their like really, really good options in that role. And Harry Kane wouldn't allow it anyway, because he's got atom thin skin. But this was a World Cup year. It was a chance for the best player in the England under-21s to push his way into the full squad, and it's a lost year that he might not fully recover from, and it pisses me off beyond belief.
I mean, he might come back. There could be stuff going on behind the scenes, negotiations with Villa about like the financial aspect of it. Maybe that's why there's a bit of a delay. Maybe, for all we know, he could be in the squad for Thursday. They might do something tonight after we put this out. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But if we go through January and he's still at Aston Villa not playing, then I can't have that. I just can't. That's not acceptable.
All right. I think we've done that. I think we've done all right there. We've kept it relatively brief. We could have gone on for another...
We could have gone on longer, but we did go on a bit.
12 minutes, I make it.
Yeah.
All right. You got
that was 12 minutes we could have been moaning about how we're playing, though.
Exactly. And any respite from that at the moment is fine by me. A little variety for you there, listeners. you got any hope going into Thursday that we can sort of cause them some problems, and to come away with like at least a positive result?
I've got none. I'd be amazed if we didn't lose that game.
Yeah.
It's not even that I think
Yeah,
Arsenal are like anything special, but they're like fucking resolute. They're hard to score goals against, and they're great on set pieces. And when they do decide they want to play, they've got some really good players, and like they should be better than they are. I think, in terms of the football they play, because they've got some really good players. I just feel like they play with the handbrake on a fair bit, but
yeah,
if they're pissed off and they want to prove a point, I think we could be in trouble.
Yeah, I think they showed a little bit of that in the week against Villa, didn't they? There was a lot of chesty comments about, if Villa win this, they go top. Well, Arsenal just sort of swatted them aside, really, didn't they? And said they could kind of do that. They've got massive bones to pick with us anyway over the way that last season panned out. And they kind of, they're like that, aren't they? They like to clap back. Like their fans are like that. The players are like that. Like everything it feels like everything they do is motivated by them being able to say, ha! Like
that's exactly what it is with them. Yeah, that's nailed it.
So, yeah,
and the whole thing with Emery, they've got a beef with Emery, haven't they? Because he keeps beating them after like they sacked him. So that was exactly what that was last week. Just wanting to prove a point in that, and they're going to have the same mentality on Thursday. And are we equipped to deal with that? Can we go like toe to toe and stand up to that? There's not really much to suggest we've got that in us at the moment. We are like just a soft touch is a bit. It's a bit harsh. It's a bit over the top, but I don't really see too much battling qualities about us.
Yeah, me too. All right. Let's just hope, maybe perhaps if we can get an early goal and quieten the crowd a little bit, and minimise the number of set pieces that we give away, and show some resoluteness, and
set pieces. That's the key. Don't give them in. But we do it all the time now. Like, so when we played Leeds the other night, Leeds are probably the best in the league. I think they've scored more even than Arsenal on set pieces. I think they've got 14 goals on set pieces. Now, it's good that we dealt with them the other night. They didn't score from a set piece. But inside 5 minutes, they've had 2 corners. I'm like, this is not the start you want to make against a team that's like specialises on set pieces, and you've given away 2 corners in the first 5 minutes. So that's not, if we start against Arsenal and give them 2 corners in the first 5 minutes, I think we know how that's likely to go.
I don't think we help ourselves in that regard at all, because there was one today where like Connor puts it out for a corner, and that's what you teach your defender to do in that circumstance. You chest the ball out for a corner because you don't know what's behind you. You play the safe thing, but I feel like giving away the corner is more of a threat to us than trying to hook it clear
or chest it back to Alisson.
Like you're taking more of a risk with the safe play because of what the safe play leads to.
Yeah,
like because normally you give away that corner and you think, right, we this is our opportunity. We can deal with this situation, but from an organised perspective, where normally a corner always favours the defensive players, doesn't it? Because they're the ones who are, they have more players between you and the goal, like, and you can get organised, you can get into your shape, and you can mark up, and you can deal with it. But it just leads to more danger for us.
Yeah,
by
just don't
averting the imminent danger. Yeah,
and
the against
other problem,
them, we'll be in
you
trouble.
Can't even knock it out for a throw anymore because throwings are worse than corners.
Yeah, modern footy.
Yeah, shit, isn't it?
Very shit. Okay,
what was
9
your
games
reaction when
the
they
Reds
scored? By the way, that like the Fulham's equaliser and stuff. I just laughed. I was like, "Fucking hell."
No, I was gutted by that. It just a little bit of a tummy punch. I felt.
Do you know what?
Because he'll never do that again. That never. Ginger bastard.
That's why I laughed.
Not even in training.
No, it was perfect. It was a fucking incredible shot.
Yeah.
The odds on him pulling that off at that moment. Well, sometimes you've just got to laugh and think this is just the situation we're in right now. But I'll tell you the thing that was funny. So they make the substitution just before it, so Cody comes off after he scores, and Joe Gomez gets sent on. My dad's fuming. Now I'm normally the one who doesn't like defensive substitutions like that, and I'm like, Dad, if that was 80 minutes and we'd done that and we were hanging on, I'd be as pissed off as you. But at this point in the game, that's fine. You're just getting an extra defender on for the last 2 minutes where they're going to be putting it in the box. And immediately they scored. And my dad was about, he was about to say, and I'm like, don't even be saying that's the substitution. That's got nothing to do with that goal. It's not relevant. It wasn't because of the substitution. But I know that's what he's thinking. He's like, you make a defensive substitution and you can see the goal. That's what you get. Which ordinarily, I'm totally on board with that. But I didn't have a problem with bringing Joe Gomez on for the closing stages like that.
Well, I mean, it's not a substitution, but somebody does need to get out to him a little bit.
Who's
he could have dribbled that another 5 yards.
I need to watch it back. Who do you think?
I think it was Virgil that could have got out to him. I think he was the one that was most in line, that just stood on the penalty spot instead of coming out to him. At least, you're not going to get to the ball, and that's truth. But you're not going to get to the ball. But at least you're going to rush him through the shot. He doesn't have the whole time to just line it up and plant one in the top corner from fucking 30 yards like that. You
know what though? If you also maybe if you're Virgil in that situation or whoever, you may well be thinking, "Go on, shoot." There's no fucking way you're beating Alisson from there. And more often than not, that shot ends up in the fucking Thames. And then it's like game over because we can just waste time on the goal kick and that. And this is like the one occasion when it flies into the top corner, and it's like you just can't really legislate for that. No. But again, this is what happens in close games. That's you live by the sword, you die by the sword, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I think James said it after the game when we were talking to him, that just enough in the Premier League is never enough. And I thought that was a really good point. It was a really succinct way to put it, but that's what we've been on the receiving end of all year, and we've benefited from it, and we've also fallen on our sword for it as well. So you just hope that when stuff like this happens and you do get that like last minute worldy, never once in a lifetime gut punch, that it is secular, isn't it? And sometimes that goes for you, sometimes it doesn't. When you're in a rut and you're struggling, that's what happens. But when you fly in, like it happens in the other way. So it will come back around again. I'm hoping that this is a little bit of a character building season for us, and we can get back to being like building towards something and appreciating it, and we're growing again and we're moving in the right direction. Because I'm fine with not fucking winning shit or being top of the league if we're growing and moving in the right direction.
At least trying to play football, and that's the issue for me. So you're not going to win the league every year, but I want us to at least be trying to play attacking football, and I'm not seeing that at all. It's just it's turgid. It's just not good to watch.
All right. Well, are we done?
Yeah, I suppose we should do predictions for Thursday.
Yeah. Oh god,
the
go on then.
Pain. we're gonna be doing this every time. Like Brownie done it in the last pod, and that's what it's gonna be before every game now, I think. But no, I do worry that we might be on the receiving end of like a bad one.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like what I said to you yesterday, but it's it'll be two things in the same match. Like watching, it's galling to watch them go through this title race and jipping stuff in the way that they are, and everything just sort of nicely falling into place for them while we endure what we're enduring. And I think all that might come together in one game on Thursday, and it's going to be a really terrible watch for us, a low point of the season, but just something that we're just going to have to fucking get through, watch it, take the medicine, basically, isn't it? Like,
we one of them where last year,
exactly,
we've got it better than most fans have. Just it's shit at the moment, but we'll be back at some point.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely. And who knows, we might surprise a few people, and there's less pressure on us going into that game than there has been of any game all season, I think. So who knows? Maybe we'll go in there and surprise one or two people. So I'm going to say we'll get a point. I'll say we'll draw. Good. We'll draw like 2 each.
That was a good point you just made there about the pressure. There's not really much pressure on us, but there is on them. If it doesn't go well, like if we did get 1-0 up on them, they might shit themselves. They've definitely got it in them to shit themselves, and the crowd definitely have. I just don't see us getting in that situation. But if we do, I could see a scenario where Arsenal just fucking bottled it completely. But again, it's the set pieces just terrify me. I just don't think we'll deal with them. But hopefully I'm wrong, because I do think if we do get one up, and especially if you get into the second half and you're leading, I could see them completely shitting the pants. Because I don't trust them like mentally. I still think they're not what they should be. But they are good front runners, you know. If they were to get ahead against us, I think we'd be in trouble if they got ahead of steam up.
I think their set piece knack gets them out of that mental drab. There's not really any pressure on them to create something, so they can, whereas they'd normally create them. We saw it in a couple of title races from them. They just can't score. Like, they've got all the possession, they can't penetrate, and they can't score, and they miss chances. But those set pieces get them out of that predicament on so many occasions, and it'll probably be the same on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, it'll probably be me and you on Thursday night again, won't it? Because it's an evening game.
Yeah, probably will be.
Whatever. I'll get somebody in. But if you listened to us today, thanks very much for being with us. I fucking pissed myself at your warning after the intro the other night. It was like the WWE "don't try this at home" thing.
I haven't even checked. I don't check the Spotify. It's Jules who does that, but he hasn't reported back about us getting any shit. So hopefully, the snowflake element did tune out. They've not.
I wasn't so keen on you telling everybody that we really don't care if you listen. I kind of care a little bit, Dave, that people listen to the thing we pour all this time into. But,
no, it was a specific element of people that don't care if they listen. I did make that clear. So there'll be the people on the forum who might disagree with stuff. That's fine. We can talk about it. We can just talk about whatever points they disagree with, and that. None of us have got any issue doing that. It's just people telling you're wrong to feel the way you feel, and fuck that.
All right, fair enough. On that note, we'll call it an evening. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back after the game at Arsenal, come what may, on Thursday night. But until then, we'll catch you soon.